This episode is sponsored by The Break Room, downtown's best spot for a hot lunch every business day.
On this episode, Happily Ever After Formal Wear, Topeka Jazz Workshop, the teen CEO Zach Haney, and Chef Michelle Bryan talks vegetarianism.
Well, welcome to Talk About Topeka. That welcome is extended to Katrina Fraise. How you doing, Katrina?
Good. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for joining us. You are with Happily Ever After Formal Wear.
Yes.
Yeah, all right. So you're a new business owner. Well, you've been in business for a little bit, but you moved to downtown recently. And we wanted to chat with you about your experiences. So what got you into the formal wear business? Let's start at the very beginning.
Well, everybody has a wedding, so it all started with my wedding, of course. And I just felt like, who's going to go out and spend $4,000 or $5,000 on a dress you're wearing for 4.5 hours? It's kind of ridiculous. I said there has to be a better way to spend your money and not totally blow your budget on your dress. So that's basically kind of what it boiled down for me, was to offer brides an option to have the brand name. Everyone wants the Vera Wang, the Casablanca, the Maggie Sottero dresses, but not have to pay the full price. So I kind of took the idea of going and buying other people's sample gowns from their boutiques and offering that one dress and that one size for a really awesome price at my boutique. So
Very nice, very nice. Well, that's an interesting concept. I wasn't aware that was what you were doing. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And you think about it, like, unless you're really, really sentimental and you have to own this dress forever, like it's one day. Like, how many people put their dress on ever again? Really?
I wore mine to Walmart.
Yeah.
Kidding. No.
Did it have hoops? Like,
Yes. And I was pushing the shopping cart.
And that's where I've seen you from. It's the people of Walmart.
Yes.
It was on there, right?
But yeah, we just kind of took that idea and we offer our gowns for purchase or rentals, and then we've partnered with Golden Tuxedo locally here, and we offer tuxedos at our store also. So it's really worked out. I'm very happy to be much closer to downtown. We were in downtown-ish, more of the Potwin area, but yes, being closer to downtown has made a really big difference, and I'm enjoying being downtown.
So explain what it was like when you were coming downtown to find a space.
Me and my husband probably drove around for like 3 weekends, and it's like, oh, I like that building. Oh, I like that building. But it was like, all right, let's find somebody to talk to. So we went on one of those Facebook pages, those buy, sell, trade, Topeka areas. And Angie, who used to own the Kansas Avenue Market.
Angie Carney, yeah.
Yes. Downtown, she's all like, oh, you should call Ann Adams. So we gave Ann Adams a call over at Paul Properties, and she took me around to a couple different properties that she owned. And then I was like, you know what, let me show you my old building. And then we went and looked at my old building. She's like, oh, you have a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So I was like, yes, gowns take up a lot of space.
Yeah, they would, yeah.
So she was really amazing. She took me and introduced me to Mike Warzerwick over at Wolves.
Yeah.
She even mentioned contacting Jim Parrish, who owns the Jayhawk Tower. So she didn't just like hoard me and was like trying to sell me on her property only. Like, it was really friendly. She took me around to different areas and met different people to see what properties they had available. So even called up Mike Fox. So it was a really great experience. I really felt the camaraderie that goes on downtown, and the friendliness of people that are willing to work with you because they want businesses downtown. So that was really amazing. We had a good time shopping around.
Yeah. And it's great that you can talk to different people about the spaces. It's not like one corporate management company that owns all of the stuff.
Yes.
It's like, if you want it, well, this is what you're going to pay because we own it all, and this is what you're paying.
Sure, there are tons more stuff to do in Denver. There's tons more stuff to do in New York, but do you want to pay the price, and do you want to have to spend 45 minutes driving across town?
You could live here, save the money, and then visit, and then you don't have to worry about the traffic on a daily basis.
Yes.
Right?
Exactly.
We don't think about those things. Right.
Semantics.
Oh, wonderful. Well, Katrina, thank you so much. We kind of went on some buddy trails here.
Yes, that's okay.
You know, if you have a big event popping up and you need some formal wear, well, you need to be speaking to Katrina. She's down at Happily Ever After, of course, at 112 West 7th. And I really do appreciate you coming on the show
Thanks
today.
for inviting us out. I appreciate it.
I love the idea of, having the really, really great dresses that people can get, and it's affordable, and they don't have to, pay more money money than their car for it to have something
Right.
sit in a box for the next 30 years.
This is true. Come on down, we'll get you dolled up and set.
Very good. Well, thank you. That's Katrina Fraise with Happily Ever After. Well, Carice is here, and we've got Steve Waugh from the Topeka Jazz Workshop joining us in the studio. We've got quite a vibrant little crowd going on here for a wonderful day on Talk About Topeka. Topeka Jazz Workshop, Steve Waugh, wonderful organization. You've been around for a long time.
Me or the Jazz Workshop?
You know, the Jazz Workshop. Wait, you know.
Both are kind of
You've been
true.
around for what, 29 years, right?
The big 30's coming up, right?
Here in Topeka, yeah. I'm a little past that. But yeah, we are in the midst of our 46th consecutive season this year, and in hip deep planning to our 47th season.
Love it.
Wow, that's really cool.
So how many concerts do we have left in this season? 3?
We have 3 concerts left
Okay.
this season. 6 down, 3 to go.
Okay.
We've been programming 9 concerts a year for some time now, and that looks like it can stay that way. So, got 3 to go. We had a great one last Sunday. Loved it. We had about probably close to 400 people.
Wow.
Down at the Ramada. So it was a wonderful concert. 3 to go. February, March, and April.
Yeah.
I've only been one time. Ralph Crummins, who is a longtime supporter on board, maybe,
on board.
he gifted a couple tickets to me, and you know, my understanding is when you have a season membership, you can either get guest tickets or members have opportunities to do that. And so he said, "Come on down," and went to a show last spring, and it was Sunday afternoon at the Ramada, and I wasn't sure what to expect. You know, I love jazz and played jazz. You know, growing up in college, in high school, you know, playing music and, you know, a little bit of the clubs and stuff, but it was a fantastic time. It was up there in the ballroom. It was completely packed. You know, able to go in and, you know, got our little glass of wine for the Saturday afternoon, had a wonderful seat, and just listened to amazing music. And I'm not sure what I expected. But it wasn't that many people. I don't think I was expecting, and it's a big deal. I mean, there's a lot of members, and 46 years is fantastic.
It's quite a scene for jazz.
Yeah.
Really.
It's actually quite a scene for most cities. Kansas City can't mount a regular jazz series like this.
Right.
For the price that we do, by the way, and make it stay alive. We worked with them for a long time. Kansas City and St. Joe, we actually programmed their series for a while. This has been 15 years ago, but they couldn't make it. They could not make it work. In at least Kansas City's case, they claimed it was because they have all this other jazz so people can listen to. Yeah, I suppose that's accurate, that's how jazz gets to Topeka.
Right.
So it's an interesting challenge.
Yeah, and you know, there is some nostalgia about that, you know, 19th and Vine, 18th and Vine area, and it's no longer anymore, but the smoke billowing out and the jazz performer on there and the small little club. But as a performer, if I got to choose between the club with 50 people and 400 people, the Ramada, I mean, I think I want to play for 400 people. That's just me.
That's a neat thing about
You
it, too, because the artists that come in and work with us, many of them will come back every 2, 3, 4 years. We want them to come back. Our audience wants them to come back. They really respect the Topeka Jazz Workshop because our membership is serious. They're attentive.
Yeah.
They know what they're listening to, and they really develop a rapport with the artist. And so you're right, Carice. It's not like working a club where there's 50 people and waitresses
and
dishes on the floor and the whole bit. It's a serious deal, but it's a lot of fun too. People that come regularly, it's like family. They sit at the same table, they have fun with their friends, and it's a great experience.
There's obviously a formula that works here for the Topeka Jazz Workshop, but for folks who may be asking the question, why do I have to sign up for a whole subscription here? Why can't I just come to one of these concerts? Why not the cherry picking?
We have struggled with that for years, Chris, just trying to figure out how to continue to be relevant and successful. There were countless numbers of jazz programs like this around the country years and years ago. We're one of the few that's left. And the Kansas City jazz scene is going like this right now. There are more clubs, more artists, more great jazz players than there's been in years. Now, it's interesting because other cities in the U.S. are
plummeting,
are going down. So I don't understand kind of how all that manifests itself. What I know is you can't swing a dead cat in Kansas City without hitting a great jazz musician and a great jazz club. It's fantastic. We aim to take advantage and showcase those folks over here. And so about half of our season, 40 to 50% of our season, is going to be made up heavily of Kansas City artists.
Right.
This community is so lucky to have several hundred people who've come together to make it possible to bring that entertainment here for our community as well. So, well, thank you for all the wonderful work you guys are doing.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
We have a young Topekan who's done a lot of stuff around here. How you doing? It's Zach Haney.
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
You know, you're 19 years old.
I am.
I talked to you when you were in high school still, and you had Carnival Guy here, and you still do. Everything's going great. Business going well?
Very well.
Good, good. You're one of the only people that got me to jump around in a giant inflatable obstacle course and climb all the way to the top so that I could interview you. Like that was pretty cool.
I'm glad that you made it up.
We have our interesting moments, you know. So it's great stuff. And you started a business. Let's talk just a little bit about that first of all. You know, you were a high school student, and you started this business, going around planning these parties, and now you've grown a lot. But let's start way at the beginning here.
Okay. You know, I've always had that entrepreneurial spirit. So as a little kid, I was the one selling candy in the hallways. I mean, it just interests me, you know, someone would pay me $1 for a couple of gumballs here. So, you know, I really enjoyed selling things and the whole aspect of owning a business. So as I got older, I started writing business plans, and then eventually the Carnival Guy came along, and that really has taken off. So
Very cool, very cool. And it worked out well.
It did. You know, I mean, it all started with a community service project, so I never initially came up with the idea to start planning carnivals for people. I mean, I wanted to do something for the community, and then that evolved into planning events for other people. So
You saw a need.
Exactly.
And you decided that it needed to be filled.
And I guess I was the guy to do it at the time, and you know, the Carnival Guy name came along with it. So
Worked out pretty well, and now you're sitting here on Talk About Topeka, and you've written a book, The Teen CEO.
to talk about,
Yeah, but before this came out, wasn't it before the book came out that you were actually honored in Washington?
I was, yeah. The NFIB, the National Federation of Independent Business Owners, they awarded me with one of America's top 5 young entrepreneurs. So, huge honor. You know, I figured I should apply, not really knowing if it would happen, but yeah, tremendous honor, able to see the nation's capital. So
what a great honor, especially
Definitely.
you know for someone who's young, moving up the ladder. I mean, you were able to grab onto a rung and just start climbing, right?
Well, and Topeka, you know, they offer that, I believe. There's people here that want to see you do great things. They want to be there to support you. So, you know, a lot of this wouldn't have been possible without the support that I've seen from my family, from people in Topeka. So, you know, that ladder was there, but it was because of the people here who are helping me get there.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so you've got the book, The Teen CEO, here. Now tell us, what inspired you to write the book?
Well, you know, people had always asked, you know, what's your story? I'm interested. And eventually I just kind of thought maybe I'll just start putting it down on paper. So my senior year, I just began writing the book. And eventually, as I got into Washburn, I was like, maybe I should try and finish some of this before it gets too busy. And I did, and released it back in December. So
what's it been like, you know, the whole, if you have to summarize it all, and you know, getting into business, you know, going to Washington, writing a book, you're here talking today. What's it been like?
It's an amazing journey. I mean, just all of the experiences that I've been able to bundle up, I've put into this book. So everything that I've done thus far is in here, and I talk about it. And I really want to showcase that to other young people, other young adults in Topeka, and just people in general, that no matter your age, where you're at, where you're from, you can do these kind of things. I mean, it is possible to start a business in high school and be able to run that with the right support, the right people behind you. All of that's possible. So, that book, it covers a lot of that.
Without putting people in your generation down, as some might say, oh, you all are lazy.
Sure.
Right? Obviously, you're not. How do you compare yourself with, say, some of the other, the generation that you're a part of?
Yeah, it's a new era for sure. There's a lot of valuable tools. There's a lot of new communication that's evolving all the time. So good or bad, I've seen a lot of good from it. There's lots of young people that I've also met along the way that are interested in starting a business, a nonprofit. I think it's just they don't always know where to start, and they need this resource. They need someone that can show them the right direction, and that's where I think adults come into play, where they can mentor some of the young people, point them in the right direction, because young people are full of ideas, and a lot of times we just need to give them the light of day to express those.
Well, you seem to be like a young man that's pretty fearless, and you seem like someone who's been quite successful at a very young age. I'd say let's go out for a drink, but you can't have one.
We'll wait a couple years.
That's very awesome, very cool. Well, I really thank you so much, and I wish you the best of luck with everything that you're pursuing, because really you've got a really great drive, motivation, and I hope the folks around here continue to encourage that, not only in you, but in many other young people, because it really is a breath of fresh air to see some young excitement coming up through the ranks here in Topeka.
Well, thank you, and I really appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely. Of course, that's Zach Haney, the teen CEO. Pick up a copy of his book and check this kid out. I'm not going to call you kid anymore. I won't do it. I'll stop. I got to, I hope everybody picks up a copy of your book, and I hope they can pick up a little inspiration from you.
Certainly.
Well, of course, one of our favorite guests on the show, Chef Michelle Bryan, because she's talking about food, and who doesn't love food?
That's right. Everybody loves food.
Okay, we were talking a little bit about keeping those resolutions for the year. It's really important. A lot of people trying to lose weight, a lot of people trying to build muscle, a lot of people trying to be healthy. And we were talking a little bit about that, and I've always told you that I'm very much a meat and potatoes kind of guy. And you were talking about some healthier options that people could look at that weren't necessarily of the meat kind of variety.
Absolutely.
And I was gonna, say it's not possible, but I'm willing to hear you out, Michelle. So tell me how you can get this meat and potatoes guy right here to be saying, vegetarianism. Well, maybe not vegetarianism. Is that a word? Can I say that?
Yes, that's a word.
Okay, that is a word.
Yes.
But at least maybe talk a little bit about some of the cuisine that I might say,
You might give that a try?
I might give it a try.
Well,
convince me.
A lot of people, when they think vegetarian, they think, oh my gosh, it's got to be a big pile of vegetables. And the reality is that's not the case. There is actually quite a variety of foods that vegetarians can eat that incorporate different food groups, that provide them with protein, like all that stuff. That's not just like a salad or here's some zucchini and some tomatoes cooked together and that's your meal. And that happens a lot, I understand, when people go to restaurants and they're looking for vegetarian options and they get like, well, you can order like our side options and here's some steamed vegetables and some corn and some mashed potatoes.
Which might be exactly why people like me think it's not possible to eat, with any kind of degree of excitement.
Right.
Yeah.
But there are some great things. For example, quinoa, which is kind of trendy right now. It's a super grain from Central and South America.
Very good if you're trying to build muscle mass, and that's something they say.
It's because the grain by itself is a complete protein. Like usually food groups are broken up into like complete proteins, which we think of as meats, and dairy has protein and things like that. But other foods have parts of proteins in them. So beans and grains and things like that, legumes, they all have parts of proteins. And when you put things together, you can make complete proteins from the parts. Quinoa, though, is a grain that is a complete protein all by itself. And like I said, it's very trendy right now. It's very popular, and you're finding pastas made with quinoa. You can find breads that are made with quinoa. You can get it like quinoa salads on salad bars now. Little kits where you can build things with quinoa. It's a great side item. And one way that I found that I really enjoy using quinoa is, or eating it, is in a veggie burger.
Now, you had brought this up, and this kind of spurred this conversation. You brought this up to me about these veggie burgers, and I am really, on the fence about whether or not this is something that can be eaten. Because is it, a supplement? I don't necessarily like to eat foods that are just necessarily a supplement.
Right.
Especially when I'm not a vegetarian. So why would I, supplement something when I don't, feel the need to?
There's different kinds of veggie burgers on the market. There's ones that are soy-based, that are made out of like textured vegetable protein, which is where they take the soy and it looks like crumbles. Like
anytime anyone says textured vegetable protein, it just doesn't say good to me.
No, it doesn't. But when it's combined with other things, it's pretty tasty.
Okay.
And it's a low-fat option for incorporating protein. So you can buy it. Actually, you can buy this soy crumble frozen in the freezer section of your grocery store and use it where you would put ground beef in a recipe.
Okay.
Only it's significantly lower in fat.
Does it taste like ground beef?
Not exactly, but it's going to take on a lot of the flavor of whatever you're cooking it in. So you're going to get
I've heard that about tofu. It's kind of like a flavor sponge.
Yes.
Is that a good way to put it?
Yes, that's a great way to put it.
Okay.
So there's veggie burgers that are made out of like soy-based. There's veggie burgers that are like mushroom-based. And then there's this great product that's a fairly recent addition to the market that's out of Lawrence, so it's a local product.
Very nice.
The company is Hillary's Eat Well.
Oh, yeah.
And I've just recently been introduced to their veggie burgers, and it's fantastic.
Okay, all right.
It's a combination of quinoa and millet and sweet potatoes and various grains. They use organic herbs and spices in there. There's some coconut oil, but it is vegan friendly and allergen free. So there's no dairy, no gluten, no eggs, no
Usually
nuts.
when people say that, it says no flavor to me, but this is different.
This is different.
This has a good flavor.
It has a great flavor. It's got a wonderful texture. It's unlike any other veggie burger that's on the market right now.
Okay. And this is a company out of Lawrence. They've been doing this
Yes.
for a while?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and they're really just now breaking into it. Like really getting out there with people. It's a really great product, and it's a great way to incorporate quinoa into your diet in a little different fashion than just like a pile of quinoa on your plate. And you can have your burger.
I think that's how most people, when I think of quinoa, and I know several people who trying to eat healthy or trying to, again, as I said, build muscle mass. That's how they eat quinoa. It's just they make a big bowl of it and then they just kind of like scoop it out and eat it.
They're popular right now at Panera. They've got a quinoa bowl that you can get with like different stuff in it. But yeah, so this is a great product. It's a local company out of Lawrence.
It's something a lot of people I don't feel they think about, where did the food come from? How was the food put together?
Yeah.
And we'll go buy a package of something and then we'll eat it and it tastes good, but what went into making that?
Right.
Yeah. How could we have that? If that package went away, how would we ever have it again?
Yeah. Exactly. I don't know about
These
that.
are the days of our lives. I hope they never get rid of bacon at the store because, well, if they did, you're going to teach us how to make it, right?
Absolutely. And ham. Ham is just as easy as bacon.
Really?
Absolutely.
I'm perplexed. Of course, that is purefoodlove.blogspot.com. That's the blog of Chef Michelle Bryan. So, well, you come back and talk about food anytime you like.